Hey guys, so this time I wanted to do something slightly different and show you a couple of Game&Watch I got from eBay. I had a few of these when I was a kid. In fact, I had those two models specifically, but only for a short while. And there's a cool story about it. But I found these on eBay as a lot, and I just knew, because I lost the original ones, and I knew I had to get them. It was kind of a sort of a sign or something like that I had to get them, because the story behind them is pretty cool. So I was given this one, the Popeye one, as a kid for my birthday. I would have been 6 or 7, and this was done in 81 or something. Yeah. 81, there you go. I love the previous owner just carved his name and address in the back. That's just terrible. But anyway, I was given these. I was given this one as a birthday present when I was 6 or 7. I was born in 75, so yep, that's about right. And in a place called Saint-Malo in France. I used to spend July and August with my father on his boat, and we'd sail around Brittany and sometimes over to Jersey and Guernsey, and that's what happened that time. So I was given this, and that evening we decided to sail overnight to Guernsey. Now it takes about, 18 hours. Like, it takes a long time on a sailboat. So pretty much there overnight, and I played this so much on the journey. That I loved it. There was nothing like that at the time. I didn't have a home console. Well, actually, that's not true. My dad had the video pack and the MSX, but I lived with my mother at the time, so whenever I went back, I wouldn't have anything until a few years later. But this was pretty much the only game device I had that I could bring home to my mother with me. So I played this so much for the 18 hours, bar a couple of hours sleep or something like that, on the way, and I was so excited. I wanted to show my friend when we arrived in Guernsey port, because we travelled with another boat, and I had friends on that boat as well. So I wanted to show them that I hopped across the boat on the pontoon, and it just fell out of my hands, and I watched it fall into the water and sink to the bottom of Guernsey port in slow motion. I was devastated, absolutely devastated. I cried so much, and in fact I cried so much that my father sort of took pity on him. Wasn't exactly in his character, but and went ahead in Jersey the next day or Guernsey and bought me this one instead. Now these were pretty expensive, these weren't cheap at the time, and I got this one instead, which I kept for years afterwards. I don't know what happened to it. I think it just, it died or whatever. I lost it, but that's the second one I had. This one I had for about just under 24 hours. And this one I kept for years afterwards, but I was so upset that, not that I lost this game, but I'd lost by sheer stupidity and awkwardness, lost a present my dad gave me, because I knew the value of these, and it was more upset that I'd lost the game altogether, and so this was the replacement. It's good. I prefer Popeye because it's kind of, it's a lot more fun. I find Popeye. This one is a bit harder. They're pretty simple. They're not that hard. But here you go. Maybe I could show you a couple of gameplays. So you're Popeye, and you have to catch items that Olive is throwing at you. So buttons to go right, button to go left, and you got, what's his name, Brutus, something like that, is there with a hammer and trying to stop you from grabbing stuff. So it's pretty easy initially. The first 10 or so items are all come at once, maybe 2 in a row sometimes, but it gets pretty intense quickly after that, and I don't know what high score I have, but it's pretty simple. These games were very, very easy. I actually still enjoy playing them very much because of their simplicity. Oops, I missed. So if you miss 2 items, you lose a life, and if you get hit by the hammer, you lose a life as well. And typically they would have a game. I'm just gonna lose here. You have 2 modes: game 1, game 2, and a button to set the time, a couple of reset buttons, and I'm not sure what this was. Alarm, yeah, and lovely initial from DP. Yeah, and game 2 typically is a bit harder straight away. Yeah, Brutus comes in the other side with his fist and tries to knock you off your boat. So there you go, that's Popeye. Sounds were pretty simple, as you can hear. But it worked. Thoroughly enjoyable. I played this so much for the whole of the 20 hours I owned it. And by the time it hit water, it was gone. You know, there was no way to salvage it. With diving gear on the boat, but I mean, you know, by the time you get to it, it's moved already. It's sunk in the mud. Anyway, yeah, devastated. And the other one is the Octopus. In fact, I might do a series on these in the future. Because I like LCD games. I'm starting to collect them of all sort of LCD games or LED games. So there you go. You're this diver. You have to go. Once you're at the you're a diver, and you have to go and get coins. I assume they're coins because you have a bag for coins or a treasure or whatever it is, and salvage that from the octopus. And you have to avoid the octopus arms. So you get points when you collect, and you get more points when you bring them over to the boat. And I like the way they have your lives here. They're not counted, but they're just it's 3 divers. It's not 3 lives. That's really cool. It also means you're expendable. It's kind of heartless, but there you go. And if the octopus catches you, you lose your guy. A very lazy looking octopus, actually. Look at his eyes. Sometimes you can get a few, and once you reach the treasure, you have to press the button again to get it. And the buttons are, come on, obviously left and right. It's a very simple gameplay. And similar to Popeye, there's game A, game B, and buttons at the time. This one has a dent here, but and there's no marks on the side, and it has the original cover, which is cool. But I mean, I don't mind. I don't care. You know, a lot of people play. I know it's conditioned, but I don't mind. I just want to play them as opposed to just having them displayed. So there you go, and there were a lot on eBay. I had to get them. It was kind of a sign that they were for me. These were the 2 games I owned as a kid. I had another one as well years later, the Donkey Kong Jr., which I still have, but I might do another video for that. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy these. Let me know actually if you want me to start a series on these, because I have a few more LCDs, and I've been looking into getting more. So I very much love these, and there's not a lot on YouTube on these. So I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments, and see you next time.